legend of Zelda continues.
Defeat your enemies, save the kingdom, use your sword. Beware.
I cannot help you.
Find the crystals. Rescue the princess.
Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. And now, get into the latest Nintendo games, Ghostbusters 2 and Iron Sword. Only from Nintendo, now you're playing with power.
おばちゃん、これ見てこれ。
おお、ハイラルの紋章。リンクが16歳の時、左手の甲に紋章が現れる。これこそが真の勇者の証。アクションロールプレイングゲーム「ゼルダの伝説パート2リンクの冒険」。ここまで来たらやめられない。やればやるほどディスクシステム。
Da 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 da. Oh wait, I'm live. Oh, sorry everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chillporeal. I am your host, Brian, the Nerdporeal Lifeform himself, master and commander of the Nerdporeal Continuum, the host of Chillporeal. And tonight I decided we're gonna go retro. I wanted to talk about this game for the longest time. And yeah, tonight we're also going to have a secret guest, but the main guest, the guest right now is the one and only, the master of Resident Evil, the master of Symphony of the Night. We got Matt Cave Gaming. What's going on? This is going to be fun.
That is some introduction right there.
Hey, I've played this game so many times. When I see that, I had the music just pops in your head, like you're just ready for it. So how are you?
I'm good, man. I've been looking forward to this, man, all week, man. Ever since you mentioned it, I was like, oh my god, it is time. The stars have aligned.
Yes. So like I started this year, I started talking about some retro. I've been putting aside some Chillporeals, having guests on to talk about some retro games. So I had first one this year. I talked about Quest 64. I don't know if you ever played that one for the Nintendo 64. I actually found someone on X who is an expert and makes memes
Oh my
with the
God.
character from Quest 64. His name was Brian. I was like, bro, I have to get this guy on. So I got him on. He's the reason why I have a Blue Sky account. So, but yeah, if you're out there,
Okay.
hail to you. Yeah, and then I wanted to talk a Link to the Past. So I brought Prophet of the Dragon on and Man of Manetheren, and we talked about that game. I was like, okay, we talked about this game. What game do I haven't talked about yet? This one with Matt Cave. We had to talk about it. So here you are.
Dude, it's really like this is I don't know, man. This is the underdog Zelda game. It's just people. I don't know what it is that so many people, for the most part, kind of hate on this one, but this one has always been my favorite.
Oh, it's because people, you know why? It's because of stupid sites like IGN and GameSpot back in the day when this got re-released on the Game Boy Advance. Everyone's like, "Oh, this game didn't age well. It didn't do this. It's so different. It doesn't hold up well." Shut up. Shut up, IGN. Nobody likes you. And GameSpot. Even though I used to go, even back in the day, I used to go to GameSpot and IGN for cheats and to see.
Yeah.
I first heard of GameSpot, believe it or not, using Netscape Communicator. Remember Netscape Communicator?
Yeah.
Browser. I was in high school. This is early 2000. I was late for my track meet or my track practice. Did the shot because I was a big dude. And I met at the library, and I was looking up to see if there were any more images of Majora's Mask because I was so excited to see that they were making another Zelda, another 3D Zelda on the N64.
Yeah.
And I saw the moon, and I saw a whole bunch of things. I was like, "Oh, I can't wait!" I was just every day I would go on the internet to GameSpot to see if there were any more. They added any more images or something. I just wanted to see it because I was at that point I was still obsessed with Ocarina of Time. It came out the year before, or a year and a half before, and I loved that game so much. And believe it or not, Ocarina would not exist the way it was, and Majora's Mask and all the 3D games, if it wasn't for this game.
Oh yeah, see that, everybody? This is one of the most important entries in the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot that carried over from this game into the later entries. So it's some good stuff.
So I got a question for you. How did you initially encounter this game?
Oh, Toys R Us.
Toys R Us. Okay.
This was the same. It was almost like I repeated finding the original. So I don't know if you recall at Toys R Us, they would always have that big wall with the tickets in a envelope like thing and just the cover art of the games. And I'd go to the big wall of video games in Toys R Us, and the first game came out, and my brother and I are there with my father, and we see a gold cartridge. We're like, "Oh my god, that's the one! Let's get that!" And we got Legend of Zelda. Come the following year, or about a year and a half later, back in Toys R Us, look at the wall. Oh my god, there's another gold cartridge. And it was Zelda 2. We're like, that's the one.
So did you played this one after you played the original Zelda, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So it was the opposite
release order.
It was the opposite for me. So
okay. Oh, wow,
so believe it or not, my first encounter with Zelda was not even the games. It was the old animated show. Yes. Excuse me, Matt Cave.
I have that on DVD.
What's funny is I don't think I ever bought that on DVD. I probably should have. Dang it.
You can still find it. It's out there.
Okay. Did they they released Captain N, right? Did they release that on DVD?
There was like it was out like in our region for a little bit. That's the hardest one to get, but you can get like region free versions, like an Australian copy out there. I don't have it. I really should pick it up, but it's yes, right here. That's huge carryover.
All the towns except for one, except for one in this game, are named after sages in from the other Zeldas. So there's one sage we haven't encountered yet, assuming that this town was also named after a sage. It's called Kasuto. That's the one in the forest.
Yep.
That's the hidden one in the forest. Until then, we but the rest of them, there's even a town called Mito. Remember Mito, the angry little boy
Ruto.
that was jealous of Link. He wanted to get with Saria, and and he blames young Link for the death of the Deku tree. I'll be honest, the death of the Deku tree still hits.
That's actually it's a big moment. It really is.
It is. It's basically it's like Obi-Wan dying, except very early. Because Deku Tree was basically the original mentor, and he has to go because he basically the Deku Tree dies, and that's basically when Link has to stand on his own 2 feet and leave and pursue his destiny. Oh, by the way, I have to say hello to the chat. I'm so sorry. So we got this Matt Cave Gaming. This is where the fun begins. Isn't that from a Star Trek movie? That is from a Star Trek movie. Hey, it's Ted's Nerd World. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Ted?
So Ted's Nerd World's the one person you brought from your group. Nice. We got the Drunken Poet Dempsey.
Nice.
We got Punk Waddle. Then we got Dash Attack VTuber. So Dash, I hope you're doing well. I haven't even bothered trying to. So Dash and me got our accounts hijacked by a scammer from the Philippines. Oh. Yes. And I, because of that, I got myself locked out of my account because the guy pretended to be an ex-employee, and they were.
He'll be right back with us. No, I don't hear you. Uh-oh. We lost
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there he is. Okay. I got you.
Hear you.
You can't hear me?
Let's see. Audio went back to default, you stupid.
Oh, look at that.
All right, here. Yeah.
Isn't that nice when the system just decides to make a change for you?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hit my mic. That's why I was getting a little hyper, and I.
Hey, look! I got Italian in me. I'm animated.
You're animated.
Hey, yo.
My ancestry is Polish. We're just rude. We're just rude to everybody. So, my account got completely. I don't know what happened to my account. The guy changed the handle. Now it's another X guy. I don't know what happened. I haven't been paying attention. So, but yeah, hopefully that
sucks that happened, man.
Well, you know what? I learned something. What's funny is the same guy tried to do it to me again on my alternate, my backup account or my new account. And he's like, oh, he changed the words of his thing. And he tried to say, hey, and is like, oh, do you do this? And I was like, nice try, buddy. And then he immediately blocks me. So, yeah. But yeah, we got the legend himself. We got Orville Nation. What's up, Orville Nation? So I was lucky. Orville Nation's like an ever elusive rabbit of a YouTuber to kind of get as a guest because he's very busy, and he's got this great channel, talks about classic sci-fi from the 90s, Orville, and of course the Orville. But yeah, that was our last Chillporeal. That was 2 weeks ago. Definitely check it out. Definitely subscribe to Orville Nation, and of course Dash Attack VTuber as well, and Matt Cave. You have to, if you're a fan of retro gaming, and if you want to keep retro gaming alive, you got to subscribe to the Matt Cave. You got to put in the work. You got to click that button, subscribe to Matt Cave Gaming, and watch. If you're a Resident Evil fan, watch his Resident Evil Raccoon City Saga. Now it's the remakes, if I remember correctly.
I used the remakes for it.
Is it gameplay or is it just cutscenes?
It's a mix, because I always love, with any game movies, I can't just use the cutscenes. I'm like, I need some gameplay to get me to places. So it is gameplay and cutscenes. But if you like Resident Evil, it's a fun one.
Okay, I got to ask you about this. What do you think? It's like a hit or miss. Like, no matter how many times I've played this game, sometimes these bubbles get me, and I get knocked into the water, and then you're dead.
Dude,
You have
I think
lives in this game.
I still have nightmares about these bubbles. And then I re-experienced the bubbles in the Rambo NES game because it's just like this.
Oh, maybe that was the stream we talked about this. Okay.
Yep.
By the way, the music just popped up. Da 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 da.
The dungeon music is so good in this.
I like, what's funny is I like the dungeon. So this game is so different from all the other games, but I still really enjoy this because it has enemies. It still has keys and doors. Like to me, you have to have a Zelda in order to have a Zelda game. You have to have a dungeon that has keys and doors and enemies that will try to kill you basically. And it does require some exploration. And I don't know how you feel about the side scrolling compared to the traditional top down of a 2D game.
That's the funny thing about, like, don't get me wrong, I love the whole Zelda franchise, especially the top down ones, right? But I am a sucker for a side scroller. And the fact that they kept basically the heart of the first game in this one, because you got to keep in mind too, this came out, it was just these two, so it's like, there's nothing else to really compare to.
The red Zelda and the blue Link. This is the blue Link.
It's like they still kept that heart, and like you said, they still have the doors and the keys and the items in each of the dungeons. They have the exploration. You're still exploring a massive world that at its core is still an open world game. A lot of people don't realize, but Zelda, the first Zelda game, is pretty much considered an open world game because you can go anywhere.
Yeah, and Breath of the Wild took a lot of inspiration from the original Zelda. Now, I can argue that point. So like, oh, it's just like the original Zelda. I'm like, no, not quite. I mean, they took a lot of that inspiration of approaching a place from multiple directions. That I'll give them. And I'll be honest, I love the gliding mechanic in that game because it makes everything go quicker. It's just fun. You're like, ooh, crap.
The glider
Look
so
at the
cool.
horizon. Look at the beauty. So I think I've told you I'm not the biggest fan of the newer open world Zeldas because of how different they are compared to the other, like Skyward Sword and previous in 3D. I get why people like it though. I mean, a lot of people love open world games. There's a lot of content. There's hours of gameplay. And part of it is I'm just getting old. I'm getting old, and I have less time to put 100 hours or 200 billion hours into a game. Especially, I tried playing Tears of the Kingdom. I put 35 hours in, and I barely scratched the surface. I'm like, I don't think
I still haven't beaten that one either. It's like, and I'm with you. Like, it's just the time that's needed to put into those. That's the hardest part. Like, I love going back to Twilight Princess. It's a big game.
Yes.
But having that linear aspect to it helps with like the sitting down. It's like, okay, I'm going to play this for about a half hour and I'll come back to it. Like but
you know what I want you know what I want to see again? And I was thinking about this. You brought up Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, and Ocarina of Time. I want underwater exploration again. I loved the iron boots. Now everybody hates the iron boots because you had to press start, unequip them in order to go up to the surface and whatnot. But you know what, I liked the idea of going underwater and seeing what was down there, and there being a dungeon. And like, I love everybody hates the water temple. I like the water temple. I just like the idea of going under Lake Hylia, going under going underwater and seeing what was down there. Like I think a river had a piece of heart underneath, so there was always stuff to find.
All kinds of secrets. Which one had the magnetic boots?
I think that was Twilight Princess.
Was that Twilight?
I think because you have to you get to walk on the ceiling, and especially in the fire in the mountain temple. If I remember correctly, I remember doing that. That was crazy. A lot of people say they prefer Tears of the Kingdom over Breath of the Wild because Tears of the Kingdom had Ganondorf was in it for starters. And I guess there were stakes. Zelda, I think, it's kidnapped and stuff. And I'm just like, this feels like Breath of the Wild again. And I don't want to play Breath of the Wild. I mean, I've replayed Zelda games, except for I didn't replay Skyward Sword, but I did buy the Wii U, or not the Wii U, the Switch
The
remake.
Switch version. Yep.
I still haven't played it yet though, so
I still
Brian,
play it with. I like
play
that
that
they
game.
kept the motion controls, but I use a Pro controller.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like they managed to do that.
Mhm.
But I think every other Zelda well, actually, that's not true. I haven't replayed the Oracle games. I played those once
Okay.
when they
Yeah, the
first
Game
came
Boy
out.
ones. Yep.
Yes. So, but yeah, but I do want to replay all those games. Breath of the Wild's the one game I don't want to replay. I
Mm.
do want to. I eventually do want to beat Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I've said, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom kind of is part of the reason why I haven't played a whole lot of games in 2024, because it's just like our games becoming just so loaded with stuff, and the stuff just wasn't as interesting as I was hoping it would be. So
Yeah.
let's okay, I don't even know how we got to this. Let's talk about Zelda 2. So reason why I paused it here is because there are two. So you get to choose what direction you want to go in. I mean, this is still
Mhm.
like a maze. So if you go one direction, you're going to come across a locked door, and you're like, oh crap, I'm going to have to backtrack and figure that out. And I like that. I did like that part of this thing. I did
Yeah.
like
Well,
that part of this game.
depending on the dungeon, you almost end up with like 3 or even 4 directions to go because of how many elevators you cross. It's like you have to now backtrack and remember, is like, wait, which elevator did I come up and which way did I come from? It's like, you know what I would do? I would go through the dungeons. This was like my method growing up with it, was I would keep pushing until I found the curtains on the background
Mhm.
that indicated that was about to be the boss battle.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, that's the end. And I would backtrack from there and do the whole dungeon and then go back to that moment.
Trying to find. I'm wondering if the.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. I think this is the same design from Mario 3.
Yeah.
I think.
So they use that asset. That's literally the curtain from Mario 3 that comes down, except they made it blue.
Yes.
I would look for that and go, that's my endpoint. And then I would work my way backwards. Just go. I mean, obviously I'd have to get some keys along the way just to get here. But for the most part, I'd be like, okay, now I need to know, I got to backtrack and find whatever the item is. Like I need the glove, or I need the candle, or I need, whatever you need in that particular dungeon.
Yeah.
And, but that was always my thing. I was like, find the curtains.
Yeah. So I gotta tell you, so this is the Zelda I played. I rented this. I think we rented this. I kind of learned about Zelda through the Nintendo. My dad used to collect baseball cards, and he picked up some. They used to have Nintendo cards.
Yes, they
for
did.
back in the day. So they had Mario, all the different Mario characters, and they had Link. And I initially thought Link was part of the Mario brand, because I was watching the Mario Super Show at the time. Legend of Zelda was already Legend of Zelda cartoon was out at the same time. I think by the time I watched it, they were playing reruns. They were, instead of watching like the live action, Lou Albano, Danny Wells, stuff, and then they show the cartoon, and then they show another segment of Lou Albano, live action. When I watched it, it was on Fox 32 here in Chicago.
Okay.
This is 1990, I believe. This is 1990, and they had a couple of dudes in like a studio, like in like a game room studio.
Yes.
And they would basically talk about stuff, promote stuff, and then they play the anime that they would play Mario. They would play the Mario cartoon or something, and then we'd see them again. And they like, oh, check out Legend of Zelda for Friday. So Legend of Zelda was always a Friday thing. Of course, there were only 13 episodes of the Legend of Zelda. So
yeah,
hey,
that's so funny.
Me, Matt Cave. Sorry,
I forgot about that other group, because that was when it went into syndication, and then it was that whole other. Oh my god, I gotta find clips of that. That was hilarious. I remember that so much.
Yeah, and I remember like, I think it was a couple of years ago, you did a stream talking about Captain N. So I don't know. I think it was that summer. Maybe you can remember. I'm younger than you, so you probably have a better memory of it. But I think it was that same year that Mario 3 came out with Captain N, because I think they came out if I remember correctly, they came out together. I remember them being together as part of the same half an hour. I don't know if it was the same half an hour or 40. I don't remember what the time
right
slot
around
was.
the same block. Yeah, but then you'd get the Super Mario 3 show.
Yeah.
which had, you know, a new voice cast and everything,
Mhm.
you know, from the Super Show. But yeah, that was around I'm pretty sure that was right with Captain N.
Yeah, so Captain, what's funny is I played a little bit of this. We rented this, so this is the first Zelda I ever played. We rented this before I saw Captain N, and then I saw the Captain N episode. I saw the Captain N episode where he helps Link and Zelda, basically defeat a resurrected Ganon and fight. They fight Horsehead, they fight Iron Knuckle, and yeah, all because of the what you talking about, mother brain, you know, that mother brain, very how would I say it, problematic voicing, because it's like a, I don't know if I should say it, it's like a black dude basically imitating his mother. Back in the day.
It was Rick James.
It was, yeah, there you go. Even better. And like every time I hear Mother Brain's voice, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my god. But
And this was years
King
before I
Hippo
ever
there
played
and
Metroid.
everything.
And this was years before I didn't even know like Mother Brain was like the villain of Metroid. I thought Mother Brain was just some annoying character created for the show. And then of course her minions are King Hippo and the Eggplant Wizard.
Yeah.
And the Eggplant Wizard's from Kid Icarus. And I swear, I'm like, where have I heard the voice of the Eggplant Wizard? I think it's Babu, the blue vampire dude from Power Rangers from the first season.
It might be.
Yeah, he's got like a blue like armor. He's like a scientist vampire or something. They basically took footage from the show Zhu Ranger, which is the Japanese first season of Power Rangers, basically. Rita is Bandora and all that. But I swear that was his voice, and I think King Hippo's voice was the voice of Optimus Primal from
Beast Wars.
Oh, now
I never put that together.
I think, I don't know, I might be wrong though, but because I saw Gary Chalk's name on the credits at the end, so but we'll talk about that. I actually got the episode. I actually watched it, so I kind of want to comment on it at the end of the stream. So
let's do this
and get whoever the guest may be, see what he thinks. But I liked how I feel that episode is a sequel to the other animated series. It got the same voice actors. It got Link's voice actor, Zelda, and even Ganon. So my problem is I did not beat this game until years after I watched that episode. I was a real young kid when I watched that episode first thing. This was, a long time ago. And I didn't beat this game until I was in 7th grade. So this was like 7 years later. So you know what I was always expecting to be at the end? And this was before internet. I couldn't look at walkthroughs. So
you wouldn't know unless somebody told you.
Exactly. And I didn't have friends that liked the stuff. So yeah. So I had no idea. So at the very end of the game, you don't fight Ganon.
Nope.
You fight whatever this is. I forgot what it's called.
I don't remember
like
the
Phoenix.
name of that.
It's like
thing.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's like Blue Phoenix or something. And you fight. Where is it? Come on. This guy. Oh, this guy must have freaking. This guy freaking spammed it. You fight Link's Shadow. I'm like, what is this? Now this is before. Now I did beat this game before Ocarina came out. So, hey, what can I say? That was. But yeah, I was like, okay, after this, that we're fighting Ganon, right? Ganon's gonna come back, right? Like he did in Captain N, right? They revived him. I mean, that was basically this game. We'll talk about that, but no, it didn't happen. Ganon just stayed dead. It was only a game over like tease.
Yeah, he'd laugh at you on the game over.
Believe me, I have a clip of that. So, but that's for the end. So, but yeah, I was disappointed when I first beat this, but after a while, it's just, this is Dark Link. Yeah. Dash says, this is Dark Link. And, this took me a while to beat. This was a worthy final boss because I'm just like, what do I do?
He mirrors like everything you do. And well, let me ask you this. Do you know You know the spam
Well,
trick.
years later, I did.
Yeah, years later you
So
find that.
our special guest, okay, I'm gonna say this. Our special guest played this recently for the first time, and honestly, I coached him through fighting this boss without the spam, without spamming it that way.
Okay.
I don't. But the things I don't even remember how I don't even remember. I don't even remember how you're supposed to fight him. Because I used to just I just used to spam the button all the time and just hope I can hit him, and I would have the jump feature on so I could jump high and try to do this, try to do the downward thrust.
I think I would also try the quick forward jump and the quick slice like you would take out the knights with. But to be honest, it's been so many years since I have legit fought Dark Link. Like every time I replay this and I get to him, I head over to the corner and I just crouch and just spam the crap out of him.
So I got a question for you. When you play, do you? I always duck, even though I don't have to. I always duck and thrust. And that didn't sound right, but that's how else, I know it doesn't sound right, but that's how else would I put it? You duck, you press down, and then you jab, basically.
Yeah,
that's how
tons of the enemies are low to the ground in this.
Yeah,
so,
especially with the Stalfos, the skeletons, they have the shield. They always have the shield at regular level, so you have to duck.
And I would like get a little momentum and kind of slide into them and hit kind of back off forward duck thrust, forward duck thrust, and just get a little slide into them, and it would just keep them off of you. But then you have those knights there when they're actually alive. The opposite, little jump and hit them in the head.
I hate these guys. I forget what these guys are called, but I hate them so much because they just keep coming, and they don't.
And they take
hit
your
them.
XP.
They take your XP, but when you hit them, you get nothing. You get nothing.
Yeah,
no experience whatsoever.
They're just there to be an annoyance.
Yeah, shame on you, Nintendo. Shame on you. But and the other thing that I liked is not just the fact that there's doors and keys and and bad guys, but that there's still special items that you need to progress further in the game.
Yep.
And I swear a lot of games have. I got a question for you. Would you consider this game a Metroidvania? Because I know the open world, the overworld aspect would kind of defeat that purpose.
The dungeons are similar, but I don't think I would put this one in that category so much. It's close. I would say the dungeons make it close.
Yeah. Have you ever? I'm trying to remember. Are there any other games where you play as two different sprites? You're this sprite in the side scroller, and then you're in an overworld top down, like classic.
Oh,
original classic Zelda. What other games have done? I
Blaster Master was like that.
Wasn't Blaster Master always like that though? Like always top down, Fester's Quest, Sunsoft.
Well, Blaster Master went back and forth. You'd be side scrolling in the vehicle, then you'd hop out and you'd get the camera. You'd be tiny, but you'd get into a zone, and now it's top down, and you're going through an action stage.
Oh, so when you're in the vehicle, it's
side scroll. Yeah, the vehicle was side scroller, and then when you got out into battle zones, it got close, but it was a top down. And then Fester's Quest, I think Fester's Quest was
always
top down.
Yeah. Okay, but I forgot about that. I forgot that the vehicle part was the side scroll. I forgot about that. That's a good point.
That's a tough game too.
I played a little bit. I don't know if I've played the original, but I've played a little bit of the remake where they have an anime characters, main characters, an anime character, and all that stuff. I think I bought a copy on the Switch or something. But yeah, so this is the first item in the game, and which was also in the original Legend of Zelda, the candle, or the lantern, or the torch.
Yeah. Kept the familiarity, so you get to this and you're like, oh, I know what I need to do. It was well, at least we thought we knew what we needed to do, but then we realized we're lighting up the caves.
There's one thing I think they should have did, which was a missed opportunity, and I think you might agree. They should have had bombs in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, no bombs, no hidden doorways.
Like there should have been like a lot of dead ends. Like there should have been more dead ends in this game.
Mhm.
And the dead ends should have like now some of the later dungeons, I believe dungeon 5 in particular, the green one, the one with I forget his name. He's the guy with the ball and chain,
Mhm.
big
Yep.
dude, Zeus. I not Zeus, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But there's like hidden. There's like a fake wall. There's like fake walls in that
Yeah.
one in particular, and I think even in the 6th one.
Which sort of mimics Quest 2 in the original Zelda, because then you could walk through some walls in Quest 2.
Was it only Quest 2? I forget. Can you walk in any walls in the first Quest in the
I
original game?
don't think there were any in the first Quest, but if you do Quest 2, there's definitely the invisible walls.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, Quest 2 I have not played in a while, and I needed help with that. Like a buddy in high school actually somehow had like the game guide, and he
Mhm.
was able to write down on paper, on loose leaf paper, how to beat everything, and that's how I finally beat the second quest of Legend of Zelda. Because this was even further away. So, but I accidentally stumbled upon the second quest by just naming the file Zelda.
Yep.
And I didn't
Then
know
they're
that. I'm
holding
like,
the
why?
sword.
I'm like, what is this? Why is this different?
Quest 2 is tough.
This right here took me forever to get through initially. Like, I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
He's holding his shield. All right, I'll duck, and he's still holding his shield. I'm like, what the heck? He's switching shields now. And it took me like several days to actually first get past this part right here.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
but
those
yeah.
knights got really tricky. And then when they start throwing the dagger, they get
Oh
even
my
tougher.
gosh! Oh my gosh!
I hate those guys.
The blue ones. Oh boy.
Between them and the boomerang guy, it's just like, okay.
I forgot the boomerang guy. It's the same boomerang guy from the original game. I forget.
Yep.
They're like wolves or something. I forget what they're
Yeah,
called.
you just see them from a different point of view at this point, so they look quite different, but when you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, well,
Oh, and
yeah,
that
I'm not
sound, the
looking at 'em
boomerang
from top
sound is
down.
so grating in this.
Yeah, yeah, and it comes back the other
And
way.
it's so annoying. It's just like it makes that sound like, okay, you're in, and you can hear it when they're off screen too. That's how crazy it is. So
Yeah.
um
Now, I gotta not to throw you off at all, but I'm kind of racking my brain right now. I've been trying to think of this. Is this the only Zelda game with an experience mechanic?
I think so.
I think it is. I'm trying to think of like the handheld ones. I'm like, did they have any experience points? But I'm like,
Link's
no,
Awakening, no.
no, Minish Cap didn't.
No,
Oracles didn't.
no. Link
This is
Between
the only one.
Worlds. I don't know about have you played Four Swords or Four Swords Adventures? Or
Not all the way through, but I did play some of that.
I don't think those are either. I think
I don't think it
they're
was
just
either.
multiplayer.
But this whole like leveling up system, which became very common in a lot of NES games, this was really the standout for Zelda when it came to this and upgrading your magic, your attack. Because normally you would do that simply by collecting an item, and it's like, okay, this item is stronger or this tunic is stronger.
Yes.
But this game is one of those games where you can literally spend an hour just grinding and not doing a dungeon yet.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, you bring up grinding. Where did you end up going for grinding? Like, did you go to keep going back to a palace or the woods?
I would go to the woods where both the moblins with the spears were, and also the blue and red spiders would come down. I found they would drop the points bags pretty often in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would usually try to do that. Another good spot was in the marshlands, in the swamp, because those enemies were a bit more powerful.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right here. Okay. Yeah, this, by the way, another big hurdle was getting past this cave right here. So you had to learn the jump ability, and I didn't even know Like I was really young, and I still didn't know that you had to go into the towns and talk to the NPCs. So I like the fact that this is another thing that they added to that is a staple of Zelda, the NPCs talking to NPCs. Because the original game, let's be honest, the original Legend of Zelda takes place in lower Hyrule. Because I mean, when you think about it, all these people are living in caves. They're a bunch of they're low lives. They're scum. I mean, they're the gross, basically. I mean, the only person that has class is Ganon, and he's a freaking demon king. He's a dungeon.
He's got his dungeon palace. He's got all his minions.
Yeah.
Dude, I just looked at the screen like really fast, and I thought that said "Find Matt Cave."
Mag Cave. Make Mad Cave make Mad Cave retro again. No, I'm kidding. But like I like how like some of like there's some like NPCs that you just don't talk to. Well, you do talk to her because of ooh la la,
She helps you out.
You go in and she restores your life.
Yeah, she
does.
Restores
Restores your life. So I mean it's I mean, what can I say? So Link is how old is Link in this one? So Link is 16, right? So Link is 10 in the first one, and this is a direct sequel to the original game. And Link is 16, and he finds out. So another thing that came from this game is the fact that he has the Triforce. He has an inscription of the Triforce on his hand. It just appears when he goes near this magic door that leads to a sleeping Princess Zelda. So apparently in this game's lore, in this game's backstory, so this game had so this is another thing. This game had a I mean, every Zelda had a backstory. Even the first game had a backstory, like Zelda, broke her, evil demon King Ganon attacks Hyrule, looking for the Triforce. Zelda splits the Triforce into 8. Ganon takes her away to question her, find out where those pieces are, and and then we get to see all the items. So that's the original Zelda had such a great anticipation because you got to see all the items to see what you could collect. At least that's how it was for me. Zelda 2 actually has a backstory going back ages past, where apparently this one king basically blessed the kingdom with had the Triforce, but he was a pure of heart. He had a good soul. He had a good he had balanced character. So he was able to hold the Triforce and not F up the world because the Triforce in the hands of the wrong person.
Oh yeah.
You don't want that. The Triforce is something that you got to keep away from the bad folks. So he decided not to turn it over to his son, his heir, and his son felt he was wronged by that. And the only one that had that knew about it was the sister, the princess, whose name happened to be Zelda. And this prince basically got into cahoots with an evil wizard. We don't know who this evil wizard was, but some people think he was an Aghanim type of character.
That's what I like to think.
Yeah, at least that's what I think that's what this says.
Yeah.
So
I got my encyclopedia over there.
Or this
with me.
or this. I don't know.
Oh, you got both versions. Nice.
I also got the art books. That's the red book. So I got all 3 books. So
nice. I have the gold cartridge one.
The gold cartridge one. Interesting.
You haven't seen that one?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna get it.
All right. All right.
Hold on the fort. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll hold on the fort. So but yeah, this is one of those games. This is one of the oldest games I've ever played that wasn't a Mario game. It's one of the first games I ever rented. I think the first game I ever rented from a video store was Mario 2. And then I think this was the other one that I got. Zelda 2 was a game that Not only did I first play, but I thought every Zelda game was like this. So when I finally got for Christmas, not for Christmas, my birthday, the original Zelda for my 6th birthday, believe it or not, I beat all the Mario games at that point before I turned 6, and then I got Legend of Zelda. I'm surprised how different that game. I'm surprised how different that game is from this. I thought every Zelda game, I thought every video game was a side scroller. It was so different. But it slowly, it slowly won me over. You gotta see it.
Oh, it's my green screen's going weird.
Hold on, I gotta turn off I have seen that before. Oh my gosh.
You saw this one, right?
It's got the cartridge cover. It's got the cartridge protector. Oh yes. Yes.
And then it's all.
Can you take it out? You can take it. Oh my god.
It looks like it even like
it shines.
The back, yeah, it shines. And
oh my
god!
Look at that.
It feels like an NES cartridge.
No way.
It's insane. It's got a nice spine on there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this one is just. I don't know if all the editions were like the same with like the layout of all the stuff for the encyclopedia, but I absolutely adore this edition, and the fact that it came in a giant sleeve is just insane.
that is so awesome. I think I don't know if that was a limited edition or something, but it probably
I think you could still find them out there, but it's I think you can even still get that like on Amazon and stuff like that. But I came across that in a Target and picked it up.
I hate these guys too. Remember these guys? They always knock me. They always knock me the F off. They always knock me off the bridge. They're always doing stuff. This town, remember this town? The town of Saria. The coastal town. So every time you talk to an NPC, they turn into a bat. Remember that?
Yeah. The first one even tells you, like, oh, Ganon's minions are everywhere or something, or spies are everywhere, and then they turn into a bat and hit you.
The eyes, they call them the eyes of Ganon. So
yeah.
And I didn't know until then, but yeah. But what did you think of the difference? So the first town, they let you go and you get to see the old man, and the old man teaches you the magic spells. What do you think of So this game brought in magic for the first time. So we get a magic meter up there, and we learn magic spells. You press, I think, select, and then you use a certain amount. That there's a number amount that you do. So like if it's 50, then that means it uses 5 bars or something. So life was always a hefty price.
Oh, that took up like all your magic unless you were leveled up with it. That's where like kind of grinding early in the game just to level that up came into play. But each power got more and more power. Like the initial powers were more like defensive ones, like you get shield, you get life, or even get the jump power. But later you get thunder, and you get
that was the last one.
That was the last one,
and that took up the entire thing,
the whole thing.
And you needed that to fight a certain final boss. Well, not the final boss, the second final boss, the Phoenix, because the Phoenix is invulnerable otherwise. So, so you get to. I forget. In this, you have to go to the woods to find this guy named what's his name? Bagu.
Yep.
And you know Bagu, then I can help you cross. There you go. And of course everybody knows I am Error.
Of course.
But yeah, like the women with the red dresses, the lumberjacks and the purple shirts. Those guys, they are basically typical NPCs. They always respawn and stuff, but there's certain special NPCs that you talk to that will actually give you information. So that's another thing. You get information from the NPCs in this, and that's how that's how
a lot like Castlevania 2.
Yeah.
In that sense, you're talking to the townsfolk, get your information about whatever item you're looking for, or what your quest is going to be, or sometimes a little side quest like, oh, bring me back my whatever, the vase or whatever, and then like, okay, now talk to my father, and he'll give you the magic. And it was it was stuff like that. Like, I played this before I ever played Simon's Quest, but I remember the first time I played Simon's Quest, I was like, oh, this is like the towns in Zelda. Okay, I'm going to talk to all these people and figure out what I need to do. Little did I know at the time that it was going to be the most irritating and confusing dialogue ever. But
I did not discover Castlevania until the Wii came out. Actually, I never rented those, never played those. I didn't even know they existed until my friends told me about it. Until they told me about it, and I thought it was just like a puzzle. I thought it was just like this, a puzzle game, but it's actually, it's a platformer where you play as a guy hunting Dracula in his castle, basically. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I played the first game, and I'm like, holy crap. Which game ripped off of where? Because the sign moving horse, or the horse heads or something, we're basically doing that. So
those Medusa heads.
Oh my god, those Medusa heads, or those, especially in level 5 when you have to fight death. And oh my gosh, level 5, you only get hit 4 times and that's it, you're dead.
That's it.
And you have to, every time you die, even if you get to death, you have to start at the beginning of the level. Now, it's nowhere near as bad as how Ninja Gaiden likes to troll you.
Oh yeah,
when you fight the final boss of Ninja Gaiden, you die. You die. You don't go back and fight the boss again. You go back 3 levels because you were bad enough. You were not worthy enough to fight the boss.
Yeah.
But I heard that's because I heard they did that because of how pissed off people were for renting games.
Yeah,
like video game companies hated that, so they would make crap.
You know what? It wasn't so much even the developers. It was the studios putting out the stuff. Like, so like, whoever did like the development, let's say like Factor 5 developed this, but EA put the game out. EA would be the one who was upset about renting it because they're the ones like producing it and sending, trying to get all the money made from it. And so you end up with games back in the day like The Lion King on Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Are they the same game or are they different?
They're the same game. On that particular ones, those are the same.
Okay, because I mean, obviously the Aladdins, I believe
those were different. Yeah.
I played the Super Nintendo one. I don't think I ever played the Sega one.
Yeah. I always think it's so funny how like kids today, they talk about, whenever they talk about hard video games, they're like, oh, the Souls games, Dark Souls games, Demon Souls. I'm like, back in my day, every game was a Souls game. Like these games were tough. Like, it's like,
kid, move aside. We're going to show you we're going to show you real hardship right here.
Go play Ghosts and Goblins. Let's go.
Ghosts. Oh my gosh, that game. But yeah, Dash, to answer your question, I do have Echoes of Wisdom. I did start it. It's a very different game. I do mean to play some more of it. I just lost. I played it a couple times. I streamed it, and I just lost interest right away. I lost interest. I didn't lose total interest, but I just stopped playing. I just didn't. I don't know. I'll play. I'll play it. It does have a lot of the environmental stuff that. Have you played it, Matt Cave?
Yeah, I played. Actually, funny enough, my 7-year-old daughter has played more of it than I have. She discovered that she likes puzzle solving, and she got hooked. So I'm like, oh my god, this is great. I have so many games I need to show you.
My friends. My friend has a daughter. Like it was a couple of years ago. I brought my Switch over, and she was trying to play some of the games, and the one that she liked the most, believe it or not, was the remake of Link's Awakening.
Nice, that was a good one too.
So I gave them, like, my friend eventually bought her a Switch, and they got it with Mario Kart and stuff. And I was just like, here, you want Link's Awakening? She's like, yes. And so she will ask me random questions, like a kid would, like when I'm hanging out with her dad, I'm talking to him, she'll just interrupt us and say, hey, how do you do this? And her dad will be like, excuse me, you're being rude, And then I will answer, and she'll be like, okay. And then she'll walk away, and I don't think she'll play it, but she'll ask anyways, just to interrupt her dad. So, but yeah, she took a liking to Link's Awakening and playing as Link and all that, the top down, puzzle solving and all that. So yeah, so it just made me think of that. Adorable.
Yeah, these games are, especially this one, the second game, it was a different way of solving what you need to do, different from the original. Don't, a bit different from even just the rest of the ones that came after it. But this one, actually, funny enough, you mentioned the Switch before. Have you played this at all on the Nintendo Switch Online service and saw what they did with it?
Well, I did play a little bit of it. What did they do with it?
They put the game, like, it's there, you can play it as is, but then they put the special edition version of it.
Oh yeah,
and they start you with all the magic.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. I think they didn't they do something similar with Zelda, Legend of Zelda, where you can start
they did with the first one. The special edition starts you with the blue ring already. You have the meat, you have some bombs. It gives you like a head start on the game. But this one in particular, I was like, it just literally starts you off the bat. You don't have to visit a single wise man. Like, you have all the magic.
You have all the magic. Do you have all the items too? Or do you have
no, you still need to get the items. So the only head start to give you is just all the magic unlocked.
I see. Okay. Yeah, whenever like the problem with Nintendo Switch Online is that they very rarely release stuff. So I remember when the Wii came out with the Virtual Console and even the Wii U, they would release like 3 games a week. Yeah. So I always look forward to Thursdays. I'd always look forward to Thursdays of them seeing what they would release and everything. So Prophet.
I just saw that.
So what's funny is Prophet's older. Prophet's older too. I think he's about your age. I don't think he's ever played this one. He tried playing it recently, and I tried to coach him through. He's like, I can't play it. And he's a big link. He's a link to the past. He's a big original Zelda. He's a big link to the past guy. And he does love me and him argue about Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. He loves those games. But yeah. What's up, Steve? How you doing? thanks for dropping by. But I personally feel this game gets very little love for what it inspires. And I like the look. I like the music. I still think it has a place. I mean, is it as good as the first game? No, probably not. I think this game should have definitely had bombs and some other items, like more active items, like not just like, how would you describe the items? Like they're
kind of passive. Like it's
you don't press a button to like actually, use them. They just,
well,
actually, that's not true. The flute. So you do get a flute in this game. Every game you get an instrument. You get the flute in this game, and you have to actually press the action button, and you go da 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 da, and then the spider blows up or whatever that thing was, that monster, blows up. I'm wondering. Okay, I got a question for you. That spider. Let me see if I can find it. At the very end. All right, that's not here. Oh, I could not find this level for the longest time. So that was another reason why I got stuck. I never beat this. I didn't beat this right away. I didn't know how to find this level. And I guess I never put 2 and 2 together on the hint of how to find this. So apparently you have to blow the whistle in a certain spot in Hyrule, basically. Where is it? Right here.
Over here. Yep.
So like, I'm a dumb kid. I'm a dumb kid playing this game. I had no idea. I just one day just randomly did it. Like, what? I'm just going to go in the middle of this, and I'm just going to go in the middle of this thing. I'm just going to play that. I'm going to play that instrument. And then all of a sudden a freaking palace shows up. I'm like, oh my God, now I know why I couldn't get into the Great Palace for 7 years. So I would actually hike all the way up. I would hike all the way up to the Great Palace, just being the 5 palaces, or the 4 palaces. Actually, I couldn't beat this one with the wizard dude. Yeah, that you had to use reflect for. Because this was another time I just couldn't figure out. Like, I didn't know that you need to use reflect. I didn't even know I needed to get reflect. I thought some of the towns did not. Some of the towns did not come in. So some of the towns did not have spells. But I was a dumb kid. What can I say?
Yeah, because there was hints for like everything. I forget what the hint was though, to even let you know to do that. but because some of it was pretty cryptic, certainly not Simon's Quest cryptic, but you had to kind of like almost guess what was going on.
Oh my gosh. Somebody just showed up out of nowhere. What the heck? Like,
Did you leave the back door open?
I did. Apparently we got an intruder here. Oh my gosh. Angry Canadian, what are you doing here?
What is up? All your bases belong to me.
How did that happen? What the
We're getting robbed, dude.
We're getting robbed by Angry Canadian. What's up, buddy? How you doing? I
Doing good,
invited
man.
him. I was hoping you would be like,
No.
bro, you invited me. Because our relationship is I annoy Angry Canadian, and Angry Canadian is the annoyee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like the big brother I never had, and I'm glad I never had.
Wow. That's a good one. So didn't I forget, why did I invite you? I guess I felt sorry for it. No, I'm kidding.
Shots fired.
Didn't you play this?
Yeah, I played this for the first time, I think like almost 2 years ago now. And man, I tell you what, I don't know if you want me to go into a long monologue about my history with older games, like specifically like NES games, but yeah, it was a blast to play this game.
I'm curious, what is your history with older games?
Well, so
you don't like them, basically, or they're just not your thing?
Well, they used to be, for me at least, I used to view them as just kind of like outdated, annoying. The biggest example was just they were too difficult. That was my excuse all the time. Especially because I grew up with the N64, and so I'm like used to like 3D games. And so going back and playing like 2D games was always like a bit of a struggle. And then over the years, like especially as I like matured and my taste evolved, I started going back to 2D games, and that's when I fell in love with like Link to the Past. And then it wasn't until basically like 2 years ago that honestly it was between you, Matt, and also you, Chillporeal, like your guys' love for like NES Zelda really piqued my interest to go to try to attempt it again, I should say, because I've attempted it before, but I would just get lost or I just would give up. And yeah, I went back and played the original Zelda, and then I eventually played Adventure of Link, and I prefer Adventure of Link over the original Zelda, actually.
Nice.
Interesting. Now I forgot why you prefer this over original Zelda.
Man, I think it's just like there's so many cool things about this game that obviously the original Zelda game has like it was unique for its time and whatnot, but just for me the biggest thing was like the music. I love the music in Adventure of Link a lot more, even though it was composed by a different person, not Koji Kondo. I like the kind of
Yeah.
I like the RPG aspects to this game. So there's like a whole level up system to it that was like, I'm pretty positive was never implemented in any other Zelda game.
Nope. We just talked about that. We just brought that up.
I was trying to think. I was like, did any of the handhelds have that? I'm like, I think this is the only one.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about stats, the Game Boy Color games had like rings, and the rings can boost your stats, but that was really it. Like this game had like you could obviously on the screen here you can boost your magic, your life, and your attack power, and that's basically an RPG. So that was like really cool to like learn the tricks to like doing it, like how to do it, which ones to level up first, and like to get an edge on the enemies. But yeah, it was really cool. Besides that, the exploration was really interesting, right? Because you're going from like 2D to like open world, and it was like a massive map, and you're traversing around. Oh, actually, you know what? Another thing that makes it an RPG is the random encounters, because those are like basically RPG elements there, the random encounters.
Well, they're not quite random. I mean, they're not quite, because when I think random encounters, I think Final Fantasy, where you're in the open world, but then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, you're thrust into a battle. Whereas in this, you can run away. I mean, it'd be tough, but you can run away.
Yeah.
So we got the other expert of what do you call it? Zelda 2 here, Dempsey. So you got an invite. I sent you an invite if you want to come in and talk about it for a little bit. So we got about an hour. So AC, it's good to see you, man. So So reason why, so I was Matt, I was telling you this earlier. So I'm playing Final Fantasy right now because AC bullied me into playing it.
Oh, he
So
was the one that got
yeah,
you.
he's like, if so, I'm actually going to meet him. Actually going to Japan in a couple months. I'm actually going to meet him
Nice.
in person, and he's like, he's like, Brian, I can't hang out with you if you don't play Crisis Core. So I'm like, oh
Yes.
dang it, oh
Yes.
dang it. So I got okay, but I did beat it. And believe it or not, it actually gave me an incentive to get back into the Final Fantasy 7 games and actually play Rebirth, get into Rebirth. So, so I'm actually really excited. So AC, thank you. Thank you for kicking my butt.
Well, funny you say that because I was watching Matt play the other day, and congratulations to Matt, he finally finished Crisis Core, and he's going through his own journey with
He's so
Final Fantasy
good.
7.
I did not play like all the missions. I played a good amount of them, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play it. I'm just gonna play the rest of the game. I was surprised it wasn't as long as I thought it was gonna be.
Which one? Crisis Core?
Yeah, Crisis Core was only like 9 chapters.
Yeah,
10
the
chapters.
10th one was pretty short. 10 chapters. I was with you. I stuck mostly to the main story. And then what I did offline off the stream, I got a suggestion from like Nick over at EPN, and I think even Angry Canadian suggested it. Go do the bonus missions and just level up. So I did. So I went from level 14 the week we streamed, and then when we came back the next week, I was level 30. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, he
And then
was
we
like
just picked up
melting
more-
enemies.
Yeah, it was insane.
So I one thing I noticed, I was surprised at some of the changes that they made, in that the fact that especially was with how Zach dies. Spoiler alert. Zach just in the original game, Zach just gets murdered. He just gets murdered in an ambush.
Yeah.
And Crisis Core, he dies Halo Reach style, where you're just fighting as many enemies until the game just stops for you.
Dude, that blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, am I supposed to die here? I think so. And then you just riddled with bullets. It's just
Well,
insane.
actually, Matt, so because I know we're here talking about Zelda, but I gotta point this out to you. So you were shocked that you thought that Zack died on the stairs in the original game, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, in the international release of Final Fantasy VII, they added more scenes with Zack because there was like a lot of like missing information, like people didn't know what was going on. You have to probably talk to your buddy Nick, but you have to basically find or grind like specific side quests to unlock like pretty much prerequisites to see these extra cutscenes of Zack. Because if you go look it up online, you can see the same kind of like similar ambush scene that you saw at the end of Crisis Core. It's in Final Fantasy VII, the original game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's
you
that.
you
There's
have you have a stream of that?
no, unfortunately, no. I didn't.
no.
I didn't stream 7, but I watched like a retrospective recently, and someone pointed that out. I was like, oh, I didn't even know they did that. So, they've hinted at it like a long time ago when they re-released it, like the international copy. But they just in Crisis Core they were able to expand upon it.
Yeah. I gotta look that up. I want to see that. That's awesome.
I'll have to check that out too. We also have, looks like we got a few more people in the chat. We got Flame Age. What's up, buddy? Met him and RNG and all those guys here in Chicago. What do you call us, AC? What do you call
Chicago
us?
Knights? I don't know really.
No, you say Illinois boys.
Oh, Illinois boys, yeah. Illinois boys.
So what's up, buddy? And we got someone from the Matt Cave side of the force.
What's
the Matt
up,
Cave.
Sheev?
What's up, Vader's Lair? How you doing? It's good to. I don't know if I've ever seen you on this channel before. Welcome.
Yeah. He's AKA Sheev the Wise.
Sheev the
Nice.
Wise.
Yeah, Vader's good man right there. And we got
When did
Cage Fanatic in the
when did
chat.
they name Palpatine? Was it? It wasn't Darth Plagueis, because I don't think he didn't even have the name in the Darth Plagueis novel. Sheev Palpatine was like Sheev Palpatine. It was Tarkin. It was another James Luceno book. It was Tarkin. I haven't read that one yet, but
Leia.
Hey, if you like good Star Wars prequel books, definitely read the James Luceno books. Read Labyrinth of Evil. Read Cloak of Deception. The Rise of Darth Vader. Definitely read the Revenge of the Sith novelization. dude, better than the movie. better than the movie.
It's good.
It's so good. And definitely read Darth Plagueis. Darth Plagueis gives you a backstory to Palpatine that was, you know what, is still canon to me. I mean, what I love about it, it goes into the Sith training, but it still makes Palpatine. It doesn't make him a sympathetic character. You end up being sympathetic for Plagueis instead.
Yeah.
Remember, Palpatine is the ultimate villain in Star Wars. He's the ultimate evil.
He really is.
So, but then bringing him back, Palpatine somehow returned. That was stupid.
Kind of in the line of thinking of things somehow coming back, and we were talking a little bit before about remakes and remasters.
Yeah.
Do you think we would ever get a re-release of Zelda 2? Like it not just in its natural form, but some sort of a remaster or remake? Could we see this come back?
I have talked about this. I would love to see this come back. I think one idea I would have would be you have to expand the tool set, maybe add a couple of dungeons, do something like they did with DuckTales Remastered. You played that, didn't you, Matt Cave?
I love that remaster. It's so good.
Speaking of which, speaking of DuckTales, so the voice actor that plays Simon Belmont in Captain N, I'll bring that up. He's the same voice. Now, I don't know if you remember DuckTales episodes pretty well, but there's a DuckTales episode, original DuckTales, only DuckTales, not the new.
The only DuckTales, you're right.
Gay, whatever, Disney stuff. Well, they're both Disney, but there was an episode of DuckTales where they were making fun of like the Star Trek fandom, believe it or not. There was an episode where Huey, Dewey, and Louie were fans of this science fiction show that's about to be canceled, and they're trying to get Scrooge to put money to invest in the show and all that. And the captain, the captain of that show is the same voice as Simon Belmont. He's got the hair, and he's supposed to be, and he talks like Shatner and all that. So it's that same voice actor, basically imitating Shatner the whole time. He turns out to be a jerk because they go. It's like Galaxy. This was Galaxy Quest before it was Galaxy Quest. Like they go out into space, and he thinks it's a set, but it's actually a real ship because Gyro created a real ship instead of a TV set.
See, DuckTales was ahead of its time.
Yes, it was. So yeah, sorry. I put that together watching today's episode that we're going to talk about AC. And AC, I told you about it. I watched the episode, the closest thing to an adaptation of this game in a single 24-minute episode of Captain N. And I watched. So the reason why I was telling Matt this earlier. Reason why I was so annoyed that Ganon wasn't the final boss was because they end up fighting Ganon in that episode. And Ganon gets revived, and they fight him, and they defeat him. It's the scenario is horrible, but I still love it because it's nostalgia for me. But I was expecting Ganon to come back and fight him at the very end, and that didn't happen in this because I watched that way before I ended up being this game. So, yeah. I'll bring up the video later and show some clips. We also have Leia Rose here. What's up, Leia? I haven't seen you in a while either. You used to come around, and I guess she got bored in Chillporeal. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's a lot of channels out there. You gotta pick and choose who you spend time with. So good to see you.
Well, to answer Matt's question about seeing this brought back, I guess if the modding community gets pretty big for like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, I would like to see them use the engine from that. Remove the tool breaking, obviously, but the world's big enough that this would work well with Zelda 2's world with like Breath of the Wild size and like kind of incorporate the same mechanics. It'd be really cool to see this in like 3D because just looking at the map, right, you're running around in a massive map and you have like these dungeons, obviously, and like it would be really neat to see this in like a 3D, like a true 3D world, not like a pixel 3D or whatever. But I don't know. The question, like, will Nintendo do it? I'm not sure. I mean, we saw that, they brought back Link's Awakening for the Switch, and I mean, I guess it did all right, but I don't see them like doing that with like Link to the Past or anything older because they like having their legacy games kind of stay legacy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was curious, my follow-up question would have been like, what style would you want to see that in? And I think I agree with you. I think Zelda 2 would work very well in the open world 3D realm. But I guess what I would like it to do is remain somewhat linear,
Yeah.
like not as open as Breath of the Wild and Tears of
Yes.
the Kingdom. You know, be closer to Twilight Princess is what I would want it to be. Oh,
Is
what
this
that?
a fan made one? This looks interesting.
Yeah, this is what I included a little bit of this in the Ocarina of Time retrospective
Oh my God,
because
look at
this was
this.
originally supposed to be they were originally were going to remake this as a 3D game, and then of course they decided not to do that. So there's also a little bit of Legend of Zelda 2 obviously with that, but yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is
Oh
look
my
at that.
God, the little guy just popped in.
The only thing that would be kind of tricky is like getting the combat down, because what kind of makes this game entertaining for me is how
Mm.
tricky the combat can be at times, and like you really have to learn the enemy patterns.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you would almost have to turn this game into like a dumb like Souls-like game because of just how insane some of the engagements are with the bosses and with the regular overworld enemies.
Yeah.
Oh, we got your Muslim uncle. What's up, buddy? How you doing? It's good to see you.
Oh,
Hell
they have the
and hell
cartoon on
yeah, we
iTunes.
have the Zelda
Nice.
cartoons off iTunes, and I love that you have still the Nintendo Power. We sold. I don't have Nintendo Power. I found a clip of it. So yeah, but whenever if I saw Nintendo Power at the store or at the drugstore, I'd be that was my babysitter while my mom or my dad would be shopping. So yeah. But yeah, so this is honestly, like, I think they should have had some additional items, like bombs or
Mhm.
something. I think bombs would have done good for Zelda 2, especially fake walls and everything. Same like the original Zelda, don't have the cracks, basically. What do you think, AC?
Mm.
Yeah, having the bombs would be nice, especially at least with like enemy management, right? I mean, like that Death Mountain hike is insane, and like
Yeah.
just having to fight them all one on one and everything. So having a little bit more utility to deal with them would make that part of the game, and also the final push in the game when you go to the final palace, that little like canyon or whatever you're going through is also like,
The Valley of
yeah,
Death.
it's
That's what it's called. It's
insane.
called the Valley of Death.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, I swear they didn't read Psalm 23 when they were naming it. Or maybe it wasn't. It might be just the American name, because I think the Japanese and the American names are totally different in naming of the places or something. I don't know.
One thing that's odd too is so they Nintendo redid the first three Mario games with the All-Star collection, right? So they gave them
Yep.
like
Yes.
a nice like kind of like fresh
Mhm.
coat of paint. I'm
Yeah.
very shocked that they never really did that with Zelda 1 and 2.
Yeah, there was what wasn't that, and you may know more about this than I would, but I think back in the day there actually was only in Japan there was a bit of a remastered of version of Zelda 1 that like
Oh yeah, the
you
Saddle of You. Yeah.
yeah.
The Teleview one.
The
For television, yeah.
third and fourth quest. Yeah, I
Mhm.
played those. I actually streamed those a couple years ago. But yeah, I didn't know they existed until right before I started the channel.
Yeah.
In 2019. I was like, what is
Nice.
this? And I
I'll
found
tell
a
you-
way to basically take I forget what game, but I basically had to basically modify a ROM basically
Mm.
and attach something to it. And yeah, I used this little thing. I forgot how I did it. It's been a while, but
Yeah, I have a reskinned ROM of the original.
a lot of
too.
ROM hacks. I made a ROM hack with that thing, and
Oh, nice.
yes, ROM hacks were basically my life like 5-6 years ago. I wanted to rekindle my childhood, so I found ROM hacks of like Zelda 2, original Zelda, all the Mario, 2D Marios, and all that. And I would, what I would do, Matt Cave? You'll be proud of me. I played them on Saturday mornings.
Nice.
While eating a McDonald's breakfast. That
Oh,
was
that's
my
awesome.
Saturday. That was my Saturday
my
mornings as a
heartstrings.
kid. That was my Saturday mornings as a kid.
Oh my God. I
Wow.
wanted to bring this up real quick just before I forget and before the battery runs out. This is, we're talking about a very underrated Zelda game, Zelda 2, right?
Yes.
Another one that I really think is very close in the same realm of underrated, and I don't even know if this will show up well on the screen.
Oh,
my
the
green
bubbles
screen.
right here.
Hold on a second. Turn off my green screen again.
AC, how did you feel about these bubbles? These bubbles are always hit or miss with me. Oh my god.
Oh, there we go. Yes, Link Between
Link
Worlds.
Between Worlds
Yes.
on the 3DS. This is, in my opinion, I would say in second place next to Zelda 2 as underrated Zelda games.
Yeah, because nobody ever talks about that one.
No
I
one
remember
ever
I was
talks about
so
it.
That's
excited.
true.
I remember I was so excited. I love the you become a painting mechanic
Yep.
and all that. That was so
It was
so
such
innovative.
a cool thing. But the other thing I love too is, like, especially being on the 3DS, is that turning on the 3D helped you in some of the dungeons. It became a mechanic in itself.
Mhm.
And it was just such a cool way to play. But the other thing too was what was great about it was it took place on the Link to the Past map. So it was basically a sequel to Link to the Past.
It was by, like, I think it was supposed to be 3 to 4 generations later.
Yeah.
And there's a theory. So there's a theory where I think you have to there's like an online version of that game that you play of Link Between Worlds, and there's an old man that challenges you to be the ultimate warrior. A lot of people think that old man is Link from Link to the Past.
Oh man,
that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that old
cool.
man. He's like he's basically doing all the same attacks you are and all that. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it's legit. I think it's a legit thing.
It's kind of almost in the vein of the skeleton
Twilight Princess
ghost you fight in. Was
Yes.
it Twilight Princess?
Yes.
Yeah, the hero.
The hero
That's the hero of
The
time.
hero shape,
Yep.
That was the hero of
I
time.
love talking this stuff with you guys. God, I don't even have to get a full thought out. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know, I didn't pick up. Well, when I first played Twilight Princess, I didn't pick up on that right away. I thought that was I didn't know who that was until I got until I think it was this until I got this Hyrule Historia. And then it basically said, "Oh, that's the hero of time," and then it made sense. And then well, that's why I put a lot of emotion in my retrospective with the hero of time, because it seems like even though he saved the world, he was basically alone, even after the events of Majora's Mask. So I don't know. He didn't really have an heir or someone to pass down what he learned, basically.
Yeah.
Which I feel which is important. I mean, that's the reason why people feel very strongly about especially about the way Disney has treated Star Wars, because I mean, in Return of the Jedi, Yoda, as he's dying, says, pass on what you've learned, and they failed to do that. Well, they failed to do that in a way that felt earned, basically. So Rey, come on. Rey just knows everything. She's better than Luke. So
she's the greatest.
Exactly. But it was, I feel it might've been the same with the hero of time, but I mean, we don't have enough information. We just have 2 games and him as a Stalfos, basically. Yeah.
Oh, it was Dempsey that mentioned it. You said there was a Zelda 2 fan remake.
Yeah. I'm trying to look it up right now. I think if you just type in Zelda 2 remake, you'll find it. It seems to be pop up pretty quickly.
All right, I'm gonna look. I think I might have seen something like that, because let's see. Zelda
But
2
it warms
remake.
my heart, Matt, that you love Link Between Worlds, because I agree. Like, not enough people talk about that game, and I think that's a game they should have brought to the Switch. Like that, I would have rather have that than Link's Awakening.
I agree.
Remaster or whatever, but
it's trapped on the 3DS, and I wish I had a way to stream my 3DS. Like, there are some really good games on there, especially the remasters of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. They're phenomenal on the 3DS.
Is this it?
They're trapped.
I think that's it. Dempsey's gonna have to chime in and say
enhanced. Oh, it's a widescreen hat.
Widescreen boys, we're in the future.
I mean, the clouds are moving.
You might have to turn it down a bit.
Yeah, pull the volume down a little bit there on that.
Oh, you can hear it?
Go.
Yeah, blasting our eardrums.
It was blasting.
Oh, was it? I didn't hear that.
All right, Dempsey says this is it.
Oh my god. I want this in my life, like right now.
You know what's crazy? Look at the top and see how long your magic bar and your health bar
Yeah.
can get.
Oh, I have 3.
This is a completely added area.
It
This
looks
is just
like it,
coming
yeah.
off from the castle.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm gonna have to find time to play this now.
Is there no overworld? Oh, as I said.
Yeah, as you say, as you were.
Oh my god, I need to play this and beat it. Is it a complete game? Like, is this beatable?
I don't know.
I
Oh,
think
actually,
it is
it
because
has long
Dempsey
play.
swears by it.
Oh my god, Dempsey, you are my freaking retro gaming hero right now. Oh my
So
god.
that's the same. What else did they do?
It is indeed. Oh, yo.
Yeah,
Not
that's
only am I going to download this, this is a Throwback Thursday coming up. Oh my god. Look at this.
oh wow.
There's a piece of heart.
How
Holy
the
Wow, the
crap!
heck
art
do you
is
get
really
up
nice.
there? Can you climb the vines? That would be sick.
No, I don't. Probably not. Oh wow, look at that.
Oh,
Wait,
you can go up
Oh,
the
you have
pillars.
to jump? Oh, never
He's going to
mind.
need the jump ability.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to at least the retro games like the NES
Mhm.
titles, I have had more fun playing the sequel than the original game. So I can give you 2 other examples, or 3 actually.
Mhm.
Super Mario Bros. 2. I personally like that one. Metroid 2, but that's a Game Boy game,
Mm.
but I prefer that one over the original.
I
And then
agree with that one, but
Simon's Quest. Simon's Quest.
Oh,
Castlevania 2. Yeah.
interesting.
Which
Okay.
Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest is very similar to Zelda 2, I feel
yes,
like.
it is.
That's I think what really sold me on Zelda 2. I was like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of playing a similar game here."
Mm. See, that's what I had the reverse. Like, I played this first, and then when I played Simon's Quest, I went, "Oh, this is like the towns in Zelda 2." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get all the
Yeah.
info from all these people." We
That's
were just
great.
talking about that before, and it's funny you say, man, because like I like Simon's Quest, but 1 and 3 are my favorite Castlevania games. Like, they're like 3 is insane. Dracula's Curse is one of the greatest NES games in my opinion. It's also very, very tough.
Yes.
But oh my god, I'm sorry, I can't get over what I'm looking at right now.
Oh,
They
there's an elevator
redesigned
down
the
there.
elevator.
Look at the
man.
sprites on the elevator.
Yeah,
And the torches?
the torches got you got these new pillars.
Dempsey, you just changed my life.
Yeah, Dempsey, I think I know what he's talking about. There's a fan-made remake of Metroid 1. I was watching DJ Axis play that the other day, and it looks pretty cool. They added like some more sounds to it and whatnot. Which, speaking of which, they've done a fan remake of Metroid 2, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, and 2R is definitely so. That's the version I played that, and I played, of course, the Samus Returns. I never played the Game Boy one. I don't like the way the Game Boy one is. It's just like it's really close up, like Samus, like her sprite takes up like a lot of the screen, and you barely can see what's in front of you.
Yeah,
I feel
they did that a lot
AM2R
with, they did that with some of the Ninja Turtle games on the Game Boy too, where they enlarged the sprites, and it was
Yeah.
like you can't see what's coming at you.
Yeah,
Well, same with Super Mario. Super Mario Land was like that as well.
Yeah.
Mario 2. If you played the Super Mario Advance, Mario 2, it's the same way.
Yeah.
I'm just like I can't play it like this. So I don't know. That's just me though.
Yeah, this is impressive. I can tell a
look
lot
at
of
the
love was
village.
put into this.
Yes. This looks like something out of Shovel Knight.
That's a good point.
Have you guys played Shovel Knight? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
you played Shovel Knight, right?
Yeah.
You had to have played Shovel Knight. That's basically Mario 3, DuckTales, and Zelda 2 in one package.
Yeah.
I'm guys,
Mega
I'm
Man.
so sorry. I'm like I'm ready to tear up looking at this.
Your adventure has been recorded, so you can save in there. All right.
Yeah.
That's a save point?
That's what it looked like.
How did I not know this existed? When
Wow,
did
look
this
at the
come out?
clouds moving at night. It just makes this creepy. I get this eerie feeling with the clouds moving like this.
Do me a favor. go out of full screen. When was this long play posted?
Let's see. 1 year ago.
A year ago. How
April
have I
30th,
not
2023.
heard
So
about
actually 2 years ago. It'll
But-
be close to 2 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right because I think that's when Dempsey initially told me was a couple
Okay.
years ago. I feel like that's when he told me, but
Oh,
yeah, this is
I'm
very
blown
very
away.
cool.
This is I would pay for this. Like, find this on the shelf at a store. I would buy this in a heartbeat. See, this is the thing. Companies, especially Nintendo, they
looks so
need to embrace the power of remasters and remakes. I think, well, you know what? A lot of stuff like that we're kind of in a time right now where things are coming back as remasters. I mean, we've seen over the past few years, we've seen Streets of Rage come back. We've seen Ninja Turtle games come back. We are getting remasters. So I shouldn't say that nobody's embracing it. But the style of this is coming back. You
Yeah.
know?
Sorry I interrupted. Is this
Yeah.
60 frames per second? This looks so smooth.
It's smooth.
Probably is. Which now, how do you guys feel about that? Because that might throw off like your
It changes your
baked in.
timing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Your baked in
Mhm.
timing that you've learned how to play
Yeah.
this game in.
But you know what? That's a new challenge.
Yes.
So, oh my god. Speaking of things coming back and being
Oh, what is this?
Oh, now we have the jumping piranhas along with the bubbles. Yeah, great. Now I have a new nightmare.
Yep.
I hate the bubbles. I hate them.
Oh my god. This is just, but even still. You know what? Honestly though, the widescreen giving you a little more space, you can avoid the bubbles easier. There's the heartbeat.
What were you trying to say earlier, Matt?
Speaking of things kind of coming back in the retro style, the pixel art style, things like that. Did you guys see the trailer that just dropped for the new Terminator 2 game?
No, but I've heard the buzz about it.
Yeah, you might actually like soil yourself from excitement. It's the Terminator 2 game we should have had as kids. Like, I will die on this hill. The best Terminator game ever made was Terminator on Sega CD.
Is this what you're talking about? Terminator
There it is.
2D?
Terminator 2D, No Fate.
All right.
This is the type of games that are coming out now. We're embracing the retro style.
All right.
And this is one of the great. This comes out in September. I can't wait. It's going to be on everything. It's going to be on everything.
Okay. Oh,
Guys, you look, wait until you see the gameplay. Like, this is embracing not only the console 16-bit era, but arcades.
Oh,
Yeah, I can see the arcade
yes.
touch to it.
Oh my god! Holy crap! This is like Contra almost.
Yeah. And it's gonna...
oh, gee.
You get to play as Sarah. You get to play as the T-800. You get to play as John. It's following the movie the way we should have had when we were kids.
Yes.
Wow.
This looks so good.
I mean, look at his shadowed out.
He's naked.
He's in the nude boxing people. Love it.
Is that RPG? Wait, is this an RPG? Or no, that was a score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the arcade element. I mean, this would have been one of those games that like would have blown us away on the Super Nintendo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love this. This is great. They actually show you the game over.
Nice.
Oh, so this is basically Terminator 2, basically.
Terminator 2. So this is coming out. It's not showing it there for some reason, but it's going to be on all the consoles: Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. It's going to be on PC. It's going to be on everything. So this is the style that's become popular again, and it's things like this that make me hopeful to see a lot of the other games we grew up with that may come back. And that's why I was saying, like, could we ever see Zelda 2 make a comeback?
Oh, I'm sure. I am positive it will. I'm positive it will at some point. And I think it's going to have some. It's going to be updated. It's going to be updated for modern audience or for
Yeah.
modern gamers or something.
Modern game, yeah.
Okay. That didn't sound right. I'm sorry. Don't leave. Don't leave. AC, tell them not to
Chillporeal was
leave.
canceled.
Oh, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Okay, so we got a few minutes left. I know Mad Cave, I know you're busy. AC said he can only do an hour because he's really busy too. So I wanted to show this animated episode. Well, I can't show the episode itself, so I can show clips. I could show images and sections of it. So let's share my screen. And let's here's some retro. So this is the opening, the Captain N, basically. So this is where is this? This is Videoland. So this is your typical kid gets pulled into a video game and is now the hero. So have you ever seen the show Monster Rancher back in the day, Matt Cave?
Yeah.
I mean, that came out much later than this, but it had a lot of this. I got that same thing because it's an anime about a kid that gets sucked into a video game, and there's a one-eyed character. There was one-eyed creatures in this show. What's funny is in this world, Hyrule is considered the dangerous place you didn't want to go to in this one.
Oh my god, this was one of my favorite shows growing up. I watched this constantly. I still want a movie out of this.
Yes.
Was the art style done in the same as the Link show, the Legend of Zelda show?
Very, very similar. It may have actually been the same artists.
I actually met the artist that the show is based on. Like, so originally the show was a comic, a Zelda comic, an American Zelda comic, and they took that art and they converted it into a show. And I met the original artist, and
nice.
he's a pretty cool dude, and it was like really neat just to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, that show, and it's similar to the art you showed me a while ago too, right, Chillporeal? The Zelda 2 art. Remember that with the blue moblin inside the village?
Yeah, they basically took that image and they made this scene right here. So the moblins are going through this village and terrifying people, they're basically shutting themselves in. And yeah, I thought that was really great that they took that little piece of art, piece of concept art, and they made a scene like this here. But yeah, this is Matt Cave. One thing I'll say compared to the Japanese character. So I have on my thumbnail, I have the Japanese design of Link, 16-year-old Link, and then I have the design of Link in this one. The design of Link in this one is just. Look at this guy. Look at this Chad right here. I mean, same. He's got. So this is. I'm taking. He was 16 in the Zelda series, the 13 episode series, which is basically the first game. Well, this is 6 years later, and you have. Look at that hair. I mean, look at that. Look at this guy. Like this is not the Link that when people think of Link, this is not what people think of Link. He's not tall, dashing. I mean.
He's got the darker hair in this too.
Darker hair. He looks older. He looks like he's 23, 24. Same voice though. But I was disappointed. I was hoping to hear that he would say, "Excuse me, princess," or in this case, Kevin or Captain N.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole point of this episode was, to work together, to get over jealousy and work together and accomplish great things because. Let's just say Kevin is the star here. He has. I mean, come on. If you have an orange zapper that can kill bad guys, I mean, you're practically the king. You're practically the fighter. You're practically the guy you don't mess with in this video game world. And Link gets jealous, even though he has the freaking magical sword. He has the magical sword. He can beat guys, but the reason why he gets jealous because of the fact that they fight Horsehead right here. That's Horsehead.
There he is.
Doesn't look quite the same, but still, he can't beat him. He has the armor, and Link does not know his weakness. But you know who does know his weakness? Kevin does, because he played this game. His character played this game, so he knew that you had to hit him in the head. So,
oh my god, you got to pull up Dempsey's comment.
Legend of Zelda, a mullet from the past. I think it is glorious, dude. I was just like, I had a man crush on Link right here. I mean, he's still annoying, but hey, man, like the way Link looks now, he's a real little dude. He's just like a real little dude who looks like, like especially in like Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess, he's smaller than everybody else. He's tiny compared to all the other NPCs and everything. So, and he looks a lot younger. He looks like he's like 15 now.
He's pretty young in those, yeah.
So he doesn't have that dashing thing. He's
the
more like
youngest. Was the youngest Link has been was Wind Waker?
I would say Minish Cap.
Minish Cap,
But I'm
even
I'm
younger?
honestly I'm kind of basing it off of the mangas. Like even the mangas aren't
Okay.
really canon, but the mangas like depict Link different ages, like the different games. And out of all of them, Minish Cap he came off the youngest, I should say.
Yeah, another great entry too. Minish Cap is
Minish Cap
fantastic.
is phenomenal.
I'm playing it right now. Well, not right now, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I actually didn't play that until years after it came out, until I actually started getting interested in playing Game Boy Advance games.
Mm-hmm.
So I after I think right before the 3DS came out, I was playing like a bunch of Game Boy Advance games on the DS, and Minish Cap, Metroid Fusion, and Metroid Zero Mission were 3 games that I don't know why the heck I didn't play them right away, because they are excellent. They were awesome.
There's a lot of hidden gems on the Game Boy Advance.
But really, Minish Cap, I would have thought the original Zelda, because he's only 10.
Oh, maybe yeah. I guess probably that one then.
Oh, that's a good point. Is he 10 in that one?
Because he's 16 in Zelda 2, and it takes place 6 years after the original Zelda. So, yeah, in the original Zelda, he's a 10-year-old boy that is just a wanderer. He has no parents. He's just a wanderer, in the lower regions of in the lower Hyrule, because that's where all the riffraff lives. Stinky people living in caves. I mean, who lives in caves? I mean, that's where all the riffraff and low lives go. But yeah, it's basically the bad. So if that's like basically the hood of Hyrule, basically is where the original Zelda takes place, and it's dangerous. I mean, the Demon King Ganon. The nicest place there is just another cave, but it's a nice cave. It's a dungeon. That's where the Demon King lives. So,
and hey, if anybody out there is looking for a nice cave to hang out at, right here.
I mean,
what a plug.
I mean, it's a bad neighborhood when demon creatures just assault an old woman and a 10-year-old boy has to rescue her. That's basically how the original Zelda gets set up, and that's how he finds out about the quest, and how he finds out Zelda gets kidnapped, and how he has to go and get the 8 Triforce pieces in order to, confront and challenge Ganon and save the world and save Zelda. Basically, that's
just a Tuesday around here.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it is. But this whole series, like, you go in, they have the elevator, they have the
was that Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda has a midriff. You can see her belly. In this. This is a kid's show.
I missed it. It's a kid's show.
Yeah. It's a kid. Look.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Listen. The 80s and 90s were a great time. Okay.
But yeah. Oh yeah. Remember. I forget. Yeah. These are the wolf guys. I thought these were the boomerang guys for a second.
Yeah. They hold swords. Yeah.
They play some pop music that I can never play. And I don't know if you got the DVDs. They had to cut out, like, all these shows had like pop music. Like there was an episode of Mario where they were holding on to their lives, and Mario was they were holding on. They were all of them were linked to Mario, and he was holding on to a cliff, and he was trying to reach for the fire flower, and they start playing Danger Zone, from Top Gun. And then funny. He grabs the fire flower, and he in that episode, he flies. He's able to fly with the fire flower. Don't ask why. It's a cartoon, but he flies them to safety, and they're playing Highway to the. And then I watched that same episode years later on the DVD. I'm like, where'd that music go? Oh,
Yeah, they moved that.
They don't want to pay copyright.
Yeah,
Lot-
the only
lot
place
show.
you can find that is on a VHS tape somewhere that you recorded off a TV.
I don't know about you. So those were the earliest VHSs I ever owned. Were the Mario, so the DuckTales VHSs back in the day, the Mario Super Show VHSs. This was way before I got into Star Trek. This was like, of course, those boxes all got destroyed because I was a little kid. I was stupid, and boxes either got stepped on or they got sat on, and there was just, unless you had a strict system where you took the VHS cassette out of the box, you always left the box on top of the VCR. You never moved it anywhere. You just left it there until you took the the VHS cassette out, the tape out of the VCR, and then put it back in the box and then put it away.
Listen,
That's how.
kids,
That was my.
This is what he's talking about. This is called a VHS tape. And you see, I'm halfway through the movie.
Yep. Yep. So if you don't see anything, if you don't see any rolled tape on the right, that means it's completely rewound. How many? You know what's funny? Every time we bought a new VCR, the rewinder always was the first to go. Like we had to buy an additional device just to rewind.
Just to rewind. Oh,
we would put it in like a Nintendo cartridge, put it down, and then it would just and then it would rewind everything, because the VCRs would they would take forever to rewind. Like the rewinders just wore out.
Yeah.
And it would be too expensive to replace. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but like just a week ago, I cleaned the heads on my VCR. So I don't know if anybody else is still doing that these days. But...
I wish I had a VCR. I only have one VCR tape, and I need to get a VCR.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna need that if you wanna play it.
So this is King Hippo, even though he's blue. That's King Hippo, and that's the eggplant wizard. King Hippo's from Punch Out.
They took some, artistic liberties in this show. King Hippo, definitely a big example. Mega Man, another one.
I don't know. I don't know about you. I just can't get over these nipples. Like, what is going on here? This is like something.
See them.
This is like something out of a Ralph Bakshi movie right now. This is disturbing. Like, I'm sorry, AC probably doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
No.
Well, I'm thinking there's a movie called Fritz the Cat. Do not watch it.
Oh my God, my father showed me that movie.
Oh no!
Imagine anthropomorphic animals, but with human
stuff happens,
body parts and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, they've done that several times.
It's a weird counterculture movie. What can I say? I don't know. But yeah, look at this trio. So I like how in this episode, none of the other characters go with him. The princess. What's funny is even the princess. I forget what's her name. What's the name of the princess in this show?
Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. What is her name? Not her. That was Zelda.
There she is. She's got a midriff too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell me. Look, I said it before. I'll say it again.
Oh my goodness.
The 80s and the 90s were great.
See, Chillporeal has no idea what he's walking into when he finally comes to Japan. You're gonna see a lot of midriffs out here. That fashion is still very well popular.
Well, I know that. I mean, I know that. I know enough about. I've seen enough anime. I kind of know how it is.
Lana? Dempsey's saying Lana.
Lana. Oh, is it Lana?
Is it Lana?
Princess Lana. Princess Lana.
Did I never know her name?
That's funny. That's funny. You're distracted by her. That's why.
Yeah.
Like
probably.
most women, you mean? You just don't remember their name.
Just one of those crushes back in the day,
Yeah.
Yeah. But so they bring back
the Zapper and the Master Sword.
Oh my gosh, I can't look at that. Oh my gosh, I can't look. Oh, here's Iron Knuckle.
Yeah.
On the horse. They actually have here's the funny thing. They play Mario sound. They you do hear a little bit of Zelda, but they mostly play Mario sound effects here from the Super shows. They reused a lot of, like you said, they reused a lot of assets from that. But one thing I loved about these games is just, or not these shows, these older shows, there was an authenticity to it. The fact that they were playing like the sound effects and they were playing a lot of the music from the games. I mean, that's something I really enjoyed. And I'll be honest, that's one of my biggest criticisms of AC. You're going to hate me for saying this. The Sonic movies, live action movies.
Well, I'm not gonna hate you because I can't disagree with that. Like, you're not wrong. Like, that's the reason why. Well, Sonic 3 is different. The Sonic 3 movie,
3 was
they
heavy on the game references.
yes, and the
Yeah.
music too. It's not. It's very subtle though, which is a bit annoying. But there is like a couple of strong themes you'll hear. But
How'd you
but
feel
no,
when they played Live and Learn?
oh,
I was
dude,
like,
I think
whoa!
I was crying. I was man crying twice because I saw that movie twice. So I was like, it was a crazy moment. But no, going back to like the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out, right? I mean, they knew how to utilize their music for the most part
Yes.
correctly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is unfortunate that like these video game movies, they kind of like forget to do that.
Yeah. So, speaking of that Mario movie and that being pretty much the start of what I've been calling the NCU, they pretty much in that movie, they already established different worlds because they go to Kongland. And now when I saw them do that and they recognized that it was like a different world they went to, we don't really see them how they get there, but they go there. The first thing I thought of was, can we possibly lead to Captain N? And if we get like, here's my dream. My dream is the end of this NCU taking a card from the Avengers deck and get an Endgame style. That's Captain N. And everything comes together. Zelda, Donkey Kong, Mario, Kid Icarus, Mega Man. Get them all. Get them all.
Yeah.
And then freaking Avengers the heck out of it with Captain N.
How did you, hey, Matt Cave, how did you feel when you heard the plumber's rap in the movie? I actually shed a few tears hearing that. I mean, I thought it was cool, but then hearing in the theater was just, it was just so,
There was so
much history with that for me.
The first time seeing that in the theaters, I got to see it in I forget what they call it at the theater I go to. It's their equivalent to an IMAX. Big IMAX room with the Dolby Atmos soundtrack. And the first time I saw that movie, it was the sounds and the soundtrack that caught me that whole movie. I was like, my God, this is just great. And then it was the second time I watched the movie that all the visual gags and the Easter eggs and stuff, that's when I caught then. But they utilized the soundtrack well. And if they do that in a similar way with the Zelda movie and start to bring things together, get some sound effects in there. There are some iconic sounds from the Zelda franchise that I feel like it's a must to have them there. So, I mean, I would love for them to somehow bring back, they used it in this show, in both Captain N and in Link's show.
Yeah.
The sound of the sword blasting, like the firing the sword, that sound, that like
the energy beam sound. Yep.
The energy beam sound.
Mm-hmm.
Get that in there somehow, like just something.
Did that was only Majora's Mask the only game that had that 3D game that had the sword beam, basically, when you're the first, if I remember correctly, when you're the first deity at the end.
In which one?
Majora's
Mask. I think that's the only 3D game where you actually have something equivalent to the beam.
Well, Breath of the Wild has it.
Skyward Sword, sort of, because you hold it up,
yes,
and then you like kind of blast it out.
Oh,
yeah, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild has it when you're at full health.
Okay, it counts. Whatever.
That doesn't count. Okay, you know what? Skyward Sword might actually be hated more than Zelda 2.
Yeah,
that would be correct.
The controls were rough.
Oh, don't get me started on defending Skyward Sword, Matt.
Look, I love Skyward Sword. But
I love the story. I love the story. Maybe it was the controls that just I didn't part of the reason why I never revisited it after just my initial gameplay.
Well-
I loved the ending though. I loved the fight. I was able to adapt to the controls. I loved the fight with Demise because I felt like I was really fighting him. Like I was moving like crazy. Like shield. There you go. I was just like I put a lot of energy into that. A lot of energy.
You had to.
It was terrifying. He's this hulking Ganon looking guy with this fiery hair. What can I say?
This is why, like, I always recommend to people, and I rarely do this, that if you don't like the controls in the original game, play the Switch game. The Switch game has done that title even better with the classic controls, I guess you can say. But the game looks amazing in HD, like with the watercolor technique that they did with the art style and everything. And I believe it runs at 60 frames too. It's like really smooth.
It runs smooth. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Also, they got rid of a lot of the annoying stuff, so like you could skip dialogue, you could skip cutscenes. Like
is there
fight
a way to one of the issues I had with that game initially was that reason why I never bothered getting a shield was because they well, obviously the breaking mechanic started with Skyward Sword. The shields would break and you'd have to go all the way back to Skyloft in order to get another shield. Was there a way to like transport there or get another shield really quickly?
There's a way to get back quickly, and it's called using the amiibo.
He's not wrong.
So in the what's it called? The Skyloft amiibo, or I can't remember the name. The one that comes with Zelda and her bird. I think it's called Skywing. I can't. I'm failing right now. But anyways, if you used it while you're on the planet, like on the surface, I should say, I think as long as you're outside, anywhere you were at, you would get teleported straight to the sky, and then you could fly to Skyloft to then go do your errands. But no, I would say under Chillporeal, that game taught you to. You had to be very crafty with the blocking and the deflecting in order to not damage your shield so quickly. At least for me, I never had an issue with my shields breaking. I was able to just like navigate pretty well, and as long as you're upgrading them as well, because you can find the materials to upgrade pretty easily, or buy the next like level up. Like you start out with the wooden shield and then go to the iron shield. Honestly,
I just went and got. I just did the quest and got the the Hylian shield, and that was it.
Of course, endgame,
shield.
Yeah,
and then playing Demise, it was great. It was great. I loved the time travel. I know we gotta get going really quickly. But I loved the time. I loved how different sections of an area were in different points in time. I thought that was a very interesting concept. And I really did like that. Especially, I think it was the Lanariu area, the desert area in Skyward Sword.
Yes.
But that is a conversation for another time. So we gotta get going. AC's gotta get going. And Matt Cave, I gotta get going too. So, so I always end these with thank you so much for doing this. This was a great stream. Love talking about this. And by the way, Ganon here. They bring him back. You know how they defeat him? They reflect his magic back at him. And this was before A Link to the Past.
Nice.
And Ocarina. So there you go. All right. So Matt Cave, anything you want to plug or promote? Are you doing anything fun? Any videos you're working on? Any streams any games you're playing right now or streams? What's going on with you?
My next stream is actually I got my Thursday stream next week, which I'm going back and forth on what I'm going to do that night, but I'm changing things up a little bit because next Friday, the 7th, I am going to debut WWE 2K25 first day of early access. And we're going to dive into that live and see what it's all about. So that's what I'm excited about. And then the next big thing really is jumping into Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's my next step in my journey.
All right, I'm 5 chapters ahead of you. I'm in the. Is this your first time playing Remake?
I played a little bit of it like 2 years ago, so I don't really remember much.
There's a lot added. Like I'm in a part of the game that wasn't in there before. Like just running through the train tunnel is an
Yeah.
entire area that takes a while. It takes like good 45 minutes to beat.
Oh, man.
So yeah. Okay. All right. Matt Cave. By the way, Ted's Nerd World said he's sorry he missed the fun. So you gotta give him crap now. You gotta.
Oh, Ted, hey, replays are forever.
There you go. And nobody cares what Angry Canadian has to say, so I'm just gonna. I'm sorry. Sorry. I was thinking out loud. Sorry.
Wow. Well, they say that they say they know what the man's true heart is, right? When they think it out loud.
The Chillporeal heart is I guess full of stone, or no, glass. Actually, glass breaks easily.
Wow. Oh.
Well, I guess as for me, because you've opened the door for me, I don't really have anything planned. I don't have stuff scheduled these days. I'm just trying to figure things out. But I appreciate if you guys want to keep up with me. I do upload. I try to upload a short as often as I can of just some stuff that I find and collect. I am a gaming channel as well as a collecting channel, so I collect a lot of retro games, game type objects, toys, or whatever you. I also do occasional Lego building streams. There'll definitely be some in the future once once some of these new Lego Star Wars sets release. As far as I think something planned, I might actually tackle, excuse me, Dino Crisis for the first time because they released those the first 2 games on GOG. And I bought them right away. GOG is an awesome website, lets you own games DRM free. And I've never played those games. I'm assuming, Matt, you've played them. So should I play with a controller and not the keyboard and mouse?
Yes, use the controller because it plays practically identical to the original Resident Evil games. I would say mostly similar to RE3 Nemesis. So if you kind of remember the way the tank controls worked in that, that's how it's going to work in Dino Crisis.
Okay. Well, I've never played. I'll be honest, I've actually never really played a Capcom game until this morning, and I was playing Onimusha. A friend of mine gifted me Onimusha, and I'm having fun with it. So
diving in the right way. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Dino Crisis, and I'll probably stream it because I want people to see my reaction, and I'm a big Dino nerd, so it'd be cool to see how that is.
He has an unhealthy obsession with Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Actually, he got me playing it. And I hate myself because I don't think I could ever play an N64 game again. I am so used to default controls, modern controls now.
Oh yeah,
I can't play GoldenEye ever again. I can't play the N64. I mean, I could play like Zelda and Mario, but I can't play like first person shooters or. I tried Turok, and I was like,
"Hey, if you need it, I did make a video on how to get modern controls on GoldenEye on the Nintendo Switch."
Oh, he did. Yeah, I remember that.
This is the perfect time to plug your video, any video ever. So.
Right. But I want to give a fair warning though, real quick to Angry Canadian as you dive into Dino Crisis. This is not really a spoiler or anything like that. I just want you to be prepared. Okay. You are going to hear quite possibly the cringiest voice dialogue you've ever heard in your life.
Oh no. Oh no. That's all right. I'm looking forward to this now.
FF4, absolutely love FF4. FF4 free enterprise. You'll thank me later. For some reason, I'm thinking Star Trek right now. I don't know why.
Well, if I could say one last thing, I just want to commend Matt for your journey through Final Fantasy VII. Man, it's been awesome watching you play through that. Your reactions. I'm not gonna lie. When you got to the end of Crisis Core kills me every time. And I was at work listening to it, and just listening to it, I was trying to like make sure my coworkers weren't like seeing me tear up in the corner because it was bad, man. It was really bad, but it was awesome your reaction, and I'm glad that Chillporeal's finally playing games again and he's enjoying them. So I'm looking forward to you guys getting through Remake, and I'm almost done with Rebirth. I'm towards the end of that game, so I'm looking forward to you guys. Like, your mind's gonna get blown away by the time you get to Rebirth.
All right, so I gotta ask you a couple things. So is Steve is totally wrong about Rebirth?
I don't know his full opinion, other than if he got bored playing it, I can understand. But that's just if you have a short attention span, which I guess maybe he does, because he gave up on Zelda 2, right? So.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But
yeah.
the combat is like the best selling point for Rebirth. I'll give you that. I'll just give you that amount of like
Okay.
information. But yeah.
Okay, and then you bring up a nice little hot thing on your thing right there. Zelda timeline is lame. Where'd that come from?
I'm surprised no one else really mentioned noticed that earlier. No, it was just funny because it brings me back to the time that Matt invited me
I was
on
just
for
gonna say the
the
timeline
timeline
conversation.
conversation, and like I'll have to thank Star Wars Obsession because he doesn't know anything about the timeline, and then when I try to explain it to him, at first I was a bit irritated because I'm like, it's not that complicated, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? It is pretty lame that we have this timeline, and like it shouldn't be this complicated for people like fans of Zelda to understand it. And then the more I looked into it, the more I realized like, well, actually, the Zelda fans the people like to say it's not true, but I think it is. The Zelda fans pushed Nintendo to make a timeline for their games because the timeline didn't come out until Skyward Sword. And that's like when they made an official timeline. And up until that point, people just were like having fun theory crafting, but there was nothing really set in stone. So to me, I miss the days when Zelda wasn't like this interconnected like nonsense that it is now. I like when like for example, Zelda 1 and 2 are connected, right? Because that it explains that in the story in the actual game's like text. But when you get into like the weeds of like, well, Ocarina of Time is connected to Link to the Past because we have this like small little bit of text that might connect it because of like these actions. It's like now you're getting a little bit ridiculous, and Nintendo kind of fell for that, and they wrote this into an official canon.
Well, I think this was written just because a bunch of fans were just demanding it. It was like an online thing.
They really did get pushed.
Yeah, and that's what I've told people, but I've had arguments with people on YouTube comments. They're like, "That's not true." I'm like, I don't believe that because Zelda fans are just as fanatical as like Final Fantasy fans, and insert this game, popular game series. So
Yeah.
I have to agree with Dempsey's statement here. I don't know if you want to throw that up on the screen. I think that's actually a very great way of looking at it.
I agree.
It pretty much should be. I mean, each Zelda game is basically a retelling of the legend, basically.
The core of it, yeah.
The core. It's just a new adventure.
And I mean,
Yep.
a different hero. There's the hero of time. There's the hero of winds. There's the hero of Twilight. What's the hero? A hero of this? What's the hero of Skyward Sword? Disguise.
The hero of the sky, I think.
And then hero of the wild.
Yes.
And Link to the Past is just, I don't know.
You know, we melted Obsession's brain that night.
That was so funny though.
I don't even know if he fully recovered yet.
Where is this? Where is this? I gotta check this out now.
I'll send. One of us will send you a link to it. It was from a little while back, but the conversation just went. To the past. We got sweaty that night. That was
really.
Yes,
you're not a true gamer if you don't get sweaty. I mean,
that's true.
Okay,
that's true.
Gross, but it's true.
But thanks for having me on, Chillporeal. I appreciate the invite, and I love hanging out with both of you guys, both Zelda nerds, and having civil discourse on Legend of Zelda games.
Yeah, Thanks, man. For me, for me, next week I'm going to have another Chillporeal with another guest. I'm going to have the Legend of Leo on, another person that AC brought into my life, and another great channel. Has some really great takes, very knowledgeable about gaming, and he's actually recommended a lot of games that I actually kind of want to check out. And he's a big Dota guy, so a lot of his success has been Dota. So can't wait to have him on next week. We're definitely gonna probably talk more Zelda, so there's gonna be more Zelda talk next week. So nice. I might do a game stream showing. AC. I might do what you do. I might just show maybe I'll show some of my gameplay of Remake or something. Not all of it, but some of it.
Yeah.
What can I say? You've been a bad influence on me. You've been manipulating.
We all influence each other.
You're manipulating me, and now Well, how can I say? But yeah, so I'm probably gonna do some gameplay. I'm gonna try and do some solo Chillporeal, or I might even rebrand it. I might call it the Poreal Cast or something, where I'm just talking about stuff by myself. Maybe read an article. What a lot of other people do. Maybe I'll build some Legos, because I don't know. I think AC. I think one of the requirements to meet AC is to build to have a level of Lego building
Competency
knowledge,
in
competency.
building
So,
Legos.
yeah. Yeah, I gotta think of maybe we should do something Lego related too. That's another thing. So we'll talk about it. But yeah, can't wait to meet JC and Gray, and I already met James, but I can't wait to meet Ginger Ninja again. Man Cave, one of these days we gotta meet.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have to experience the beard. I have to experience the beard in person.
It's actually quite soft today. I had it trimmed and everything. It's all conditioned.
Yeah. So one of the biggest highlights of doing all this and building relationships is definitely meeting people in person. That's been some of the funnest things. A lot of people I've met here are the same in real life. No, I don't think anyone I deeply talk to is fake in any way. So I mean, which is the problem with bigger channels. Like they tend to kind of go that way sometimes. It's grifting. What can I say? It's a reality. But
all right, you got me. In real life, I don't have a beard. This is
no
all a special
way.
effect. Yeah,
No way.
I peel it off right after the stream.
You peel it. Oh, dang it!
Wow, that's
Dang
impressive.
Dang
That's
it.
a commitment, man. I've seen a lot of commitments, but that's pretty top notch.
Dang it! And for a second, I believe you. For a second, I almost believe. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, everybody. Definitely subscribe to their channels, and let's leave this off on a high note. Everybody, take care. Have a good night. Stay Chillporeal. Stay safe.